Okay, hello, welcome to the MEyou Music Podcast. And on today's episode, me and Tom, we've got Bobby Turner joining us, also known as Hatsu, going with his meditation music. Hey, Bobby, how's it going, man?
Good, thanks you.
Yeah, good, man. Yeah, so it's quite exciting seeing your meditation music at the moment. You got some beautiful, beautiful music happening right now. You've got this new album, Floating Between Worlds.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I've listened to it a lot of times. I can't tell you how many times, but I've meditated to it a lot of times. And then
So that's all your views there.
Yeah, that's a lot of them, man. I've like at least 10, I'd say, at least 10 times I've listened to it, along with the singles. Because when I want to go like to sleep or I want to meditate, then I'll hit play and it will just go through this awesome recommendations after the album finishes as well. Like you've nailed the playlists that your music's in. And it just constantly goes through so much beautiful music.
Yeah. Would you listen to it on Spotify then?
I listen to it on Spotify, yeah. What other platforms is it on?
Oh, it's on everything. Like when you distribute, well, I think a lot of I kind of do a mixture of label release and self-release. So whatever you kind of distribute through will kind of they'll give it to all of the platforms. But Spotify, I as much as we hate Spotify for whatever they are, I actually
money.
I actually really like Spotify. I think they got like wicked like algorithms for like recommendations. Like I found so much new music on Spotify, like more so. I think when I started listening to music, when I started streaming music, I was on Apple Music just because I've got an iPhone. I was just like on Apple, but it wasn't really like, I hate the platform, but just because it's not like a kind of user-friendly looking platform. It never really recommended me any music I actually liked. Whereas I found so much new music on Spotify, and kind of when you get to like your 30s, like early 30s, you kind of, I feel like you get into this point where you know your music, and you don't tend to like veer from your music. You kind of understand how like the older people are like stuck in their generations of music, whereas I find with like Spotify, it helps me keep fresh with it. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I was going to ask, was like, you feel like you felt maybe stagnated, but Spotify's helped you out, which is pretty mad. Like to think that that's possibilities of it,
especially with things like I don't know, like metal and stuff. Like I used to listen to metal when I was younger a lot more than I used to listen to anything else. And that's probably where I sort of stopped the most. It was like, okay, nothing's as good as that for me. Whereas now it's like, oh wow, I'm starting to enjoy new music in metal or like pop punk or something like that I've like I thought never really could replicate what I used to feel when I was sort of like in my teens.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree with how that goes.
I'd say I feel like the problem with Spotify, which most of us have, is that it's run by businessmen, not musicians. It has zero actual like impact. Well, not necessarily impact. It does have an impact.
Not zero.
It doesn't really help the musicians in terms of like monetary gain or actually living as a musician. But it does definitely build a fan base. Their playlists for one. If I like one particular artist, I'm going to find so many new artists just through that platform. And
exactly.
I've found so much music this past year just from switching over from Bandcamp to Spotify.
Yeah, I mean, like Bandcamp, like I get like a really I get a few sales every time a release happens, like really minor, like but like with Spotify, because of like label support, but also with like just the fact that there's like playlists that are like user curated playlists, which some of them can be pretty big. Like that is really helpful. That is really
the thing I would be interested in is that like you've got so many playlists, and then you've got so many artists on each playlist. Like how does people must get lost in that, right? You know, like you must be one of the lucky people to like have broken a little bit through that, right? Or
well, I think the thing is like with like ambient music, I like because I do like I would sort of class it as ambient music as opposed to like meditation music. Although like I do make it for like people to chill out to.
I'm the same. Yeah, I'm the same with you.
I do make actual meditation music, like specifically for meditation. I make like binaural beats as well.
Yeah, great.
But I feel like with the ambient music, it's like it's passive listening music. So it's kind of stuff that people like, unless like someone like Jack has gone on there to like particularly like specifically chill. It's something that played in the background with someone who's either studying or trying to sleep, or do you know what I mean?
You know
Tom
what he showed me?
Actually,
wait, Jack, let me finish this, man. This is hilarious because literally he showed me a piece just before we were on, and he was like, I was listening to it, and I just went, someone somewhere is crying about their dissertation right now to this music, just being like the word count. Oh no,
exactly, and it's kind of like. And like it's kind of like almost like it's almost like because I love like Jack, you'll know, like I used to send you whips, like I've been sending you whips for like 2-3 years now, and like, it's gone from like really kind of like heavily sound designed electronic music to like I don't know, everything in between, like hip hop and whatever, to like ambient music, to lo-fi, to drum and bass, like, do you know what I mean? Everything is like I'm basically just obsessed with sound. So it's not like I'm caught in a specific genre. Like I'm just obsessed with like how like sound interacts with like the spectrum of space around your ears and all that kind of thing. So when I was like, it was actually when I had my other alias, I was actually stressing myself out making that music. I actually just stopped and just started making ambient music just to like kind of chill myself out.
That's big. That's big for you to recognize that you needed to do that, right?
And
I realized that like,
sorry.
I was just saying, I realized that like, you know, there's this space for like passive listening music where it actually like take lo-fi for instance. Like lo-fi, like my mum listens to lo-fi. Like people listen to lo-fi, they don't even know that it's a genre. It's just like study music or like sleep music. Like people listen to it because it helps them relax. And I was like, well, that's like a massive thing because it's going to have a constant sort of like attention to that genre. And if you enjoy making it, which I do, like that just that's the thing, isn't it? You can just there's like it's almost like like doing the Hatsu project and making it like, okay, this is an ambient project was almost like the easiest thing to do because I knew exactly what I was gonna do, if that makes sense. I knew that it was just like, right, we're gonna make ambient music and I'm gonna find like my label that I'm gonna work with and I'm gonna self-release and I'm gonna get on these kind of like passive listening playlists. And you know, although I've got like near around 50,000 monthly listeners, I doubt that hardly any of them even know who I am. Like,
that's kind of the magic of it.
Yeah, exactly. And it just kind of goes on in the background. But then every now and then you get like people messaging you saying this, and like you still get the same old thing.
That's
quite
kind of
nice.
the hard thing with the meditation music game because you're not really playing this live. You're not having much of a one-on-one interaction with an audience. It's just the music that you're creating just being put out there. Yeah. So
it provides a service. The way I look at it, kind of like it provides a service in a space where people go to relax.
It's mental health helpful, man. Like, you know, it's mental health helpful. Like that's literally what it is.
It definitely is.
Exactly. So like I'm quite happy to kind of provide that service, I guess. Like although like I have released some lo-fi tunes as well under the same alias, and like as I've kind of like moved through the genre and as I've carried on creating the genre, I'm kind of getting a bit more like
free with it, or like, you know,
like not kind of just being like, right, let's just make a wall of sound. It's kind of like, right, I'm finding artists that are like kind of standing out a bit to me in soundscapes. it's becoming a bit more of like an artistic thing rather than just like boom, here's a wall of sound.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. I've made some ambient music myself over time, and it's really therapeutic for you as well as the creator, isn't it? Like when you're doing it, you're just
Because I quit work on the building site, and I just did it for like a year, and just it was a year straight of just me sitting in my room just making like ambient music, and it was just
you grinded though. Like you were sending me a new track, like 1 or 2 tracks a week. And I was like, how is he writing this quick? It doesn't even make sense. Like I'm trying to do the smallest little music work at all, and then boom, I've got 2 new songs from you, and they're both incredible. I was like, what?
Jack, the only thing I would say is that he took his time off of work to do this, right? You've got to work as well. So
that's true.
I'm kind of back I'm back doing construction now, and it's tough. I'm finding it tough. Like I'm finding
you're like so mentally and physically drained that when it actually comes to the small time you have to relax and be creative, you're more tempted to relax than create. You just want to chill out. You don't want to use any energy.
I've done it before. So before the pandemic, I was doing construction and then making music. However, like the difference is before I didn't have any platform or I didn't have an alias. I was still searching for something that I enjoyed to make. I was still like, I was making, like I say, everything from like 60 BPM to 180 BPM. Like I didn't have like a solid kind of, and that was quite stressful for me. And I used to like I used to get really stressed out from making music. I used to get really stressed out from making music because I never used to know like where to go, what to do. I was having lessons with this guy called Frequent, and he's like sound design god. Like he's so
nice. Was that online or was that in person?
Yeah, via Zoom. Like this dude, I think he lives in Colorado. And
nice.
Yeah, he's a proper sick guy. He's got this label called Upscale, and they're like real forward-thinking electronic musicians. Like their music is just absolutely insane. But like I could never just apply myself long enough to kind of get to that level because I was working all day, coming home being tired. I've got a child as well, so I was doing dad stuff, like trying to get to the, like trying to do like all other things, and then like sitting down, trying to make like this really like intense sound design music, and I just couldn't do it. So that's why I ended up taking the time off work, just so I kind of went from like making music like for an hour to 2 a night to literally making that music like 8 to 10 hours a day, like for a year and a half. Like
that's your work, is't it? That's 8 to 10 hours. Is a work day.
That's a job. That's a full-time job.
Yeah, I just wasn't getting paid for it.
Yeah. Downside. But you're starting to get paid for it now. You're starting to see a little bit of it pay off, right? Like it's building. It's something which takes so much time to actually get reward from.
It is, and it's also really quite uncomfortable, like when you're in that zone as well. Like I always feel like because I started up again, like in my music, it's like a lot of the people that I was chatting to were either in their late teens or early 20s. And they didn't really have much like responsibility. I was like I'm in a flat with like my missus and my daughter and working full time. And you're thinking going from kind of like being like not very good at production and in your head being like, oh yeah, I want to make this a living. Like it's proper kind of like a hard process to kind of like keep going at it every day, even though you're not very good at it. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like it was
daunting.
Daunting.
It is daunting.
There's more pressure.
And the amount of good musicians nowadays is insane. Like it's so overly saturated with incredible musicians that it's just hard to even get a foot in the door to compete.
That's the thing. I think in like this is where like Spotify and SoundCloud like differ. So like if I go on SoundCloud, like I'll find like probably some of the most amazing music I've ever listened to, created by like a 16-year-old kid, like just chilling at home, like with parents. But then if you look at their Spotify, it's like they got like no monthly listeners, they got nothing, like, because
Yeah.
they're not bothered about promoting and blah blah.
They're not
blah,
boosted. They're not
Which is
boosted
great.
by others. Yeah.
It's great for them, but not good for someone who's trying to like not be a builder and
Yeah.
make a living out of music.
I
But,
feel
like,
you, man. I feel you.
Some of the best music I've ever heard is made by like kids and like just
For real.
But
Well,
that's
you
still,
know,
they're still free, unrestricted, creative. They haven't had to endure working.
exactly. That's probably
in
the
that
reason
environment.
why.
Yeah.
well, that's why we made what we did. You know, MEyou was started in college, and then
Yeah,
you know, I
before
created my ambient shit, like, you know,
Yeah.
then as well, and then I didn't fully release it until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah, you're still
Mm.
like still got that weightless feeling when you're that age
mm,
where you can
Yeah.
just kind of create freely. You've got no judgment on you, no responsibilities holding you back, and you can just
Yeah.
freely
Mm.
play.
They don't know what it's like to spend 8 hours on a building site for like 2-3 years. Not
Yeah.
doing
now,
music.
well, this is the thing. Like, I ended up driving bands, mate, and I was
Yeah.
doing like 10 to 15 hour days of driving, like, you know, just dumb crap like that. You're never doing anything after that, are you? You take a week off, you need to breathe. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was doing that at one point, just like delivering washing machines and fridges
Yeah.
and all around like the southeast of England.
so that's a big job, isn't it?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, doing non-musical stuff like is tough when you're just like obsessed with sound.
Obsessed with
Real.
sound. Yeah.
But what
Yeah,
but
it's
I was
all you
gonna
wanna do, man.
ask you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask you. Do you do any field recordings? Are you into that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't do as much as I should do.
Should isn't a word, mate. It's just you wish you could, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of the times when I get to do it, like I'm either taking my dogs for a walk and they're like French bulldogs. So I'm trying to like record like birds or like the air or something, and all you can hear is like snorting dogs. Like, it isn't working.
Have you ever heard of that the band Pugtopsy?
No.
You should look up Pugtopsy because it's a fucking death metal like slam thing with a pug just going. It's
Yeah,
just-
Pug's got like a really annoying.
Watch it, bro.
Yeah, but that's the only reason why I don't do it as much. I was like, because
Hmm.
like I'm always walking. I'm always out walking because like I'm with the dogs and stuff, and
Yeah, they
like-
need their exercise.
getting out there and just like getting out in the woods and breathing anyway. So, but
Yeah.
one thing I like doing quite a lot is I like sampling. The way I'll make some of my soundscapes is like I'll sample like either an electric guitar or acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
What I'll do is like my process is like I'll find like a chord that I like, either like 3 or 4 notes, and I'll record one note at a time. So I'll just like I'll press record, play one note, let it ring out for like 10, 15, 20 seconds. I'll play the next note and do the same. And then I've got like an audio file with like 3 or 4 different notes. I'll chuck that into a sampler.
Yeah.
And then if you play like, you know, the middle C usually is like your original sample. But then I'll usually play like up an octave as well. So it's your original sample up an octave. So it's usually playing a bit faster. But then I'll usually play like a fifth as well on like the sampler.
What was the last one?
I usually play like a fifth up. So like I usually end up holding a C, a G, and a C.
Yeah.
Basically, it's playing the original sample, the original sample up a fifth, and then the original sample up an octave. And because they're playing at different speeds, and
Yes.
kind of starts intertwining these melodies in ways that like I never really would have thought of myself. Because I'm not, like Jack will tell you, I'm not like a theory head. I don't know really how to make music. Like I just
No, but that's brilliant. That is fantastic because you're noticing oscillations.
Yeah, you're
like-
a sound designer, not a composer. You know how to design sound. You know how to make music, just in a different way. You don't know how to write music. You still know how to make music, man. You make incredible music.
Cheers, man. But then if you like drench that with reverb or delay or something like that, you get like these nice soundscapes that kind of like have like these kind of like harmonics poking in and out. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the chord you choose doesn't work with a fifth the way you want it to. So it's kind of like, and again, because I don't know what it is that I like theoretically about music, I'm always like kind of just like, okay, I don't know if this is going to work, so I hold the fifth. I'm like, oh damn, there's a note in there that just doesn't work with me. Do you know what I mean? But
well, then, do you ever test like not the fifth? Trying like just a minor fifth or like a major fifth, or it's not the same thing, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, I mean, dude, you're talking Greek to me. Like,
I just okay. So
I just know fifth is like
you got your chord right, and I was just saying if you moved your fifth just one fret either side, maybe that would make it work for you, or it's just.
I just know that I'm generally like quite safe with a fifth. Like,
okay,
I'm
yeah.
safe with it in terms of like what I like, but sometimes it doesn't work. But then what I like doing is like it kind of comes in with sampling as well. So I might take my acoustic guitar out, just sit outside my garden and just get my phone and just do the same process but with my phone.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitar notes, and then also in the background you've got like birds, maybe a bit of wind, something like that. So put it in a sampler. It sounds really interesting because you've got these like kind of like natural ambiences as well coming through, as well as like the notes.
That's big. That's a big idea. Yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah,
cool.
I like
that.
that.
Like you got the perfect notes. You got the 1, the 8, and the fifth. So it's all just gonna harmonize perfectly. Which I guess when you're making meditation music is what you want. You don't want too much dissonance. You don't want too much edginess. You don't want that jazzy feel. But
I don't really. I think that's why I quite like making ambient music that I make, anyways, because I don't really dig dissonance other than like maybe in like metal or something like that. I'm not really a fan of like I don't know. Like I almost like hopeful sounding ambient music.
I would love to hear your opinion on my ambient music because it's dissonant, but I still feel like it's got hope in there.
Yeah, okay.
Personally,
cool.
Like, yeah. I'll have to. I'll get.
We can share that later.
Yeah. We'll do the thing.
For now, how's about we quickly have a little bit of playback of Bobby's latest release.
Do it.
Yeah, we can have a little meditation together.
Let's all breathe together, huh?
Let's all have a deep breath for this one. So this is
manual breathing.
Where I feel at peace.
Yeah, this was released yesterday, actually. Oh no, Friday.
What?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yo, I've listened to it a couple of times already. Yeah.
I wasn't done, Jack. I wasn't done breathing.
I wasn't playing the whole song. We don't have that much time. But I definitely already feel a lot calmer. It gives everyone the idea of what kind of music he's actually creating for now. It's very different to the Visco City stuff that you used to write, which was just mental, kind of like almost drum and bass, but without all the bass. It was just glitchy madness.
Just was it like the algorithm? Was it like the algorithm?
Kind of, but electronica and glitchy as.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It was still like quite happy music though. It was always pretty happy. You got a real happy vibe about you.
Yeah.
I guess with the Visco City stuff, I always like the thought of like having like the contrast between something just sounding like quite fucked up and like what the fuck is this, and then kind of evolving into something quite like pretty and nice and like
that's kind of what I guess I was going with back in the day. So yeah, I feel that, man. Yeah. So was Visco City? How was that spelled? Was it VSCO or was it
VISCO?
Okay, yeah. I was trying to remember because I had it in my head that it was just had the eye missing, something like disco. Like I just don't know why. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I remember listening to it with Jack at points, definitely.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'll be honest here. There's been several times where I've dropped acid and I just go straight to the playlist. And I'm spaced out, like on the floor or something, just on some whole other journey. Just having a ridiculous time.
What I really like about music for it. What I really like about Spotify is like the Spotify for artists, so you can look like quite in depthly at like your kind of like your analytics, and you can see what playlist you're on. You can see like who's listening to you, what sex is, if they're non-binary, like all this shit.
Cool.
Yeah, really crazy. Delve into like the listeners, and like obviously because Spotify has a shitload of like user created playlists, like I get to see what I'm on, like, and there's this one, I've got this tune that I released under Hatsu in February that was called Spores, and it was like kind of like my first like decent ambient track. And I noticed there's like this playlist called like Hudson Ketamine, and it's had like loads of plays, and I'm like, oh god, this guy Hudson's just like slamming ketamine, just listening to my music.
Bro, do you know what? I have one of my best friends' last name is Hudson. Literally. I know it's not him as well. That's the funniest part. Like it's just a completely separate idea.
I quite like that, like how you can literally like this guy's like listened to it like 100 times, and I'm like, man, this guy's like either like just chilling listening to it, or he's like every time he does ketamine he goes to his playlist and he's like got this ritual where like he's got like this certain playlist like that he's made, and like my tune Spores is on there and he's just like all like completely gone to it, like
spangled out to it.
Here's a shout out to Hudson. Thanks for giving Bobby with the views.
I'm gonna shout out my man, the Hudson Forge, because cosplay madman, he is amazing. He is incredible. I gotta shout that out.
Hey guys, we've got 5 minutes left. We got a bit of a timer. Just for in the last 5 minutes, maybe if any of you wanted to, just for maybe discuss what kind of music you guys listening to right now.
Right now?
Yeah. Go on, Bobby. Yeah, go on, whack it out.
Do you know what I'm listening, like if I go to my like tunes on Spotify, a little bit of, to be fair, like with my like tunes on Spotify, I usually like tunes that I like feel like I'm inspired by for my Hatsu project. So there's probably quite a lot of lo-fi and ambience in there. But I'm also,
you don't want to give too much away then, eh? So your inspiration.
Yeah. But I'm also like listening to like this sort of pop punk band called Arm's Length. They're quite new. They're like they've only been around since like, well, the first release something this is what I'm saying, 2019 was their first release. Like I secretly listened to pop punk when I was in my teens, when I around all my metalhead friends.
Keep it quiet.
So like I kind of like stuck with pop punk bands that were like in like a really early 2000, like 2002, 2004.
You love your Sum 41 and your Simple Plans. And
exactly, man. So like I think one of my mates that I'm making music with at the moment, Conchal, he's really fucking good. Like I've got to shout him out. He linked me this band, and I was a bit unsure. I was like, I don't know. Like I was saying, like I know what pop punk I like. I don't want to go and do stuff, but like this band, I've been like, okay, like there's emotion here still. Like, and it kind of like made me realize like there is credit to be given to like modern day music, like for sure.
Yeah, for real. I've got there's a pop punk band that I'll bring up since you brought up one. They're called Hot Mulligan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check them out.
The release I'm thinking of is called You'll Be Fine.
Nice. I'll check that out.
I highly recommend it. It is absolutely beautiful. Like just the way they portray things is like they've got a little bit of a hardcore pop punk kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, it's like there's a little like raspy scream on the guy, but it's, you know, it's very clear. It's very, you know.
I've got them up here.
That's the one. That's the one right there. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I can't say I've really been listening to any pop punk at all. No, I've been listening to a mix of metal and jazz. So I've been listening to Protest the Hero, Novelists. I've checked out the new Fallujah album, came out a while ago.
Yeah,
that was an
good.
incredible album.
What a new vocalist, man. What an incredible new vocalist. They're coming over to the UK soon. They're coming over to the UK soon, dude.
It's probably my favorite album from them, to be honest with you. It's just awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing the new Counterparts album. Still haven't heard that, as I discussed.
Very good, very good. I listened to it earlier, so yeah.
I'm looking forward I'll listen to it tomorrow. Have you heard the new Tigran Hamasyan album?
No, not yet.
Have you heard that, Bobby? Do you know Tigran Hamasyan? He's this Armenian jazz pianist. He's real cool. He's real cool, man. Everyone loves Tigran. Now his new album is cool. He's sick, man.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Stand Art is his new album. It's more trad jazz style with like just a walking bass line, just playing that standard melodic groove over it. It's definitely not the Tigran that I'm used to. Huh?
I know there's only a minute and 39 seconds left, but like I have to say this, like I'm not a fan of jazz. and my mate Harvey,
unbelievable,
just haven't heard jazz in the right setting. And I was like, I love music. I know I've got a jazz love in me somewhere, but it's just like I probably don't hear it. So you need to link me like your jazzy is jazz.
Yeah. All right. I'll send you some good jazz, man.
Bobby, I feel like you're more of a lounge jazz person. I don't know, with the nice like chill vibe.
Yeah, potentially. Like kind of
I've been listening to this chick, Callie O'Doherty, and she's real nice, smooth, kind of classical jazz vibe, but modern.
Cool.
I think that's something you might like as well. So I might send that to you. All right, guys. This has been a real nice catch up with you both. Thank you both for joining this show today. And
thanks, Bobby.
I guess thanks, Bobby, for joining us. We're gonna have to call it an end to it now. All the best with Hatsu progressing further, and we hope to see some more music from you, bud.
Cheers, man. Appreciate it. I actually got an EP coming out this month. Again, like a little 3-track EP, which I'm quite proud of. So
cool, man. Yeah, we'll be jamming that. No worries.
We'll be sharing it. All right, all the best, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Right.